Here is Katie O'Brien's 2-week workout routine. This is cited from the Pink News. I would do 2 days a week of chest, shoulders, triceps, 2 days of back, biceps, and traps. I guess that's trapezoid,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, they're shaped.
And
You need to
then,
hit the gym more, Victoria.
yeah,
Come on.
I regularly attend the gym. And then 2 days of legs and 1 day off, and then 30 to 45 minutes of abs every day, which was really annoying for me because I felt like I was just going through the motions. And then an hour of walking uphill on a treadmill every day. Versus Kristen Stewart, who did jumping jacks to get her heart rate up before scenes. So
And then smoked 2 packs of cigarettes.
yeah.
This movie feels like a fever dream you don't want to wake up from, but then at the same time afterwards you go like, why did I enjoy that so much? What's wrong with me?
Love Lies Bleeding takes place in the late 80s, kind of in the sort of weird nowhere town somewhere in the southwest.
You gotta be careful around here.
It's a love story between two seemingly very different women. Jackie is an aspiring bodybuilder. The thing which initially inspired the character was really wanting to tell a story about an incredibly muscular woman.
Welcome to Log It. We welcome Victoria De Leon back to the show. Victoria.
Hi, good to be back.
It's good to have you back.
On another banger episode.
Here we go. Hey, she said it, not me.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Knocking on wood.
We're going to do Love Lies Bleeding today. Love Lies Bleeding from 2024. This is a crazy movie.
Mhm.
Ian picked this movie.
Apparently.
So I'm going to put him on the spot. Yeah.
Yeah, I
He
have the
forgot.
receipt.
We all forgot, or me and Ian forgot. I accused Victoria of picking this, and she was quick to say
Yeah,
no.
we really saddled
No,
her with
She's
the...
like, whoa.
No, but I mean, it's on brand for me, but I was surprised that it wasn't my idea.
We can co-opt it if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think...
Yeah.
It was like a bit of a mutual decision in the text
I
messages.
think so. Yeah, it was definitely all voted for, and we all said yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I picked it because I was literally 20 minutes into the movie, and I was like, boys and girls, we gotta discuss this. And sometimes I've noticed that I get very excited about things. So while watching this, I was just enthralled. I was wrapped up in it, and I loved every second of it. Did I experience that throughout the entire movie? Maybe not, but I still think this movie warrants a conversation because I think it's wild. It's out of control.
Yeah, and I definitely felt the same feelings you did. I actually watched this in theaters
Crazy.
when it came out. I am an AMC Stubs member, A-list.
How is
brag.
that?
Oh, I love
Okay.
it. If they could pay me to be a brand ambassador, I wouldn't shut up about it. But what I like to do is to just go to the movies and either a matinee or after, on a weeknight.
Right.
And this is one of those movies I saw on a weeknight. It might be a shocker, but it wasn't a crowded house on Tuesday at 7 p.m. I
That's
actually
actually
have my
crazy.
receipt.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's like I saw it, March 24th.
Nice.
Okay, so that's a Tuesday at 7 p.m. It wasn't crowded. It was just like me, one other person, and then a straight couple.
Great.
And but I was like, okay, I'll watch this. And then literally the first 20 minutes, I was like, oh, when I
Strapped
hear
on,
a
strapped in.
synth beat, I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm stoked. This is amazing. So a theatrical experience. This is a movie that warrants a theatrical experience, but I don't think a lot of people I know saw it in theaters at all.
Also, the rave beats in movies are so in right now. I feel like I've seen 3 or 4. Like The Substance had it. The tennis threesome movie
Challengers
had it.
Speak
Challengers
its
was like
name.
nonstop. It was like the beat never died.
It's cool because it's very hypnotic, and it definitely sets it definitely
it's a vibe.
It's definitely a vibe, and it feels very 1980s, which is what this movie where this movie takes place. Speaking of visuals and big screen, the color in this movie, it pops so hard, which does not help. I mean, I loved watching it on my iPad, but imagine a bigger iPad, aka a AMC theater screen.
Yes.
Now we're talking.
Nicole Kidman was
Exactly.
talking about dazzling images, and it was this movie.
Yes.
like the texture of it. It's like so gritty and
Right.
sleek.
Yes.
Were
Like,
you referencing
it's
the AMC intro
of
video?
course,
She's a
yes.
Stubbs member, Caleb.
That was
I
great.
have a hat that says "Heartbreak feels good in a place like this,"
It
and then I
does.
have to like, if I'm outside of LA, I have to like explain
You're
myself.
just like constantly tapping the hat. Well,
I am.
no, but like I feel like such a big conversation right now on film Twitter or film Blue Sky is
Mhm.
that like all these movies, these new blockbusters are so washed out, like color wise, like you just can't, everything just like there's no vibrancy in any of these movies.
Yeah.
And when I first watched this, it was such like a breath of fresh air because again, like all the neons pop, and
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe it's like the New Mexico setting again, taking place in the late 80s. There's so much like color, and all of it pops, and all of it looks good, and I loved it.
Same. I saw this like meme or like a screenshot of something on X or whatever. It's like the children yearn for
Yeah.
Technicolor, and I'm like on board. Yeah, I hate all these like washed out images.
No, I
It's like
agree.
millennial gray. It's
Yeah.
the millennial grayification of film, and I hate it.
No, it's true, and I feel like there's like a bit of a resurgence in using color because there was like also this reminded me a lot of I watched the TV Glow,
Oh yeah.
which
Oh, I haven't seen that.
also was extremely colorful. Also had some like surreal kind of elements mixed in where you're never quite sure where the ground is. A really interesting movie, very similar to this one for me in that I got done watching it and I was just
Mhm.
kind of not sure what I thought even. It
Mhm.
was one of those ones where I was just like, I feel like I need to process it because it took us such a not even a left turn. It was not at all what I expected because it turns into like a crime drama, really. Like at its core, it's like a murder
Yeah, it's like a
drama.
neo noir, crime drama.
Like
Yeah.
romantic, but it's a romantic thriller.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Really.
Thrilling
It's a gay love story.
romantics.
Yes.
It's very a lot of sex scenes for sure. Very early on.
Yes, there is.
But
Great.
speaking of the color, this is a perfect way to intro into the beginning of the movie. One of the first shots, not one of the first shot of the movie is a shot from the crevasse that becomes very important to the movie, and it's glowing red, kind of like it feels like we're coming out of like molten lava hell a little bit. And then it first thing it sees is the starry sky, and like you guys were saying, there's so much color in this. The way they do the starry sky is very vivid, tons of color and detail, like very alive, which there's no doubt that was on purpose. And I feel like that's setting up my big question about the movie, which am I getting into this too early?
Well, maybe
Do
we
we
should
need to
save
let's
it
do a
for a
little
little bit. Maybe
backstory?
we should.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
Plot run.
plot run. So let's do a little background. This is I'm not gonna be able to say this. Love Lies
LLB.
Bleeding. LLB
Yeah.
from 2024.
LL Bean.
Kristen Stewart, Katie O'Brien from Andor.
Love her.
If anybody watched Andor, Dave Franco from James Franco's brother.
The
And
better
then
Franco.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who knew?
For real,
Who knew?
dude.
Yeah.
Also a very interesting Jenna Malone character,
Yeah.
which was a lot of fun. I love her.
Me too.
And then shout out to Anna Baryshnikov,
Insane.
who plays Daisy, who's
Yeah.
great in this, extremely disturbing but fantastic performance. This was written and directed by Rose Glass, whose first movie I think is Saint Maud, which I haven't seen. Have you guys seen
I
that?
have not. No.
I have not.
Me neither. Could be interesting. It was co-written by Veronica Tofilska, and she did the first 4 episodes of Baby Reindeer, which is
Oh.
interesting because that was a really
That was a
great
sensation.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big hit. So she's doing things too. And then the budget was $12 to $15 million, which I think they did a
Great
lot
use of
with.
money.
Yeah, it never felt low budget. Shot super well. The
Mhm.
cinematography was Ben Fordsman, who also did Saint Maud. But let's read a plot overview from Letterboxd. Reclusive gym manager Lou falls hard for Jackie, an ambitious bodybuilder headed through town to Las Vegas in pursuit of her dream. But their love ignites violence, pulling them deep into the web of Lou's criminal family. And that's Lou Jr. for the record.
Right,
Her
Lulu.
dad, Lou Sr., owns a gun range in town, and that's where Jackie first shows up to get a job. Man, I don't. This movie's like there's so many crazy threads. Where do we
Yeah.
even start? Do we start with her sleeping with JJ before we
Yeah.
know who he is?
I think so. I mean, I think
Yeah.
movie opens up with Lulu, Kristen Stewart's character, basically cleaning out a toilet. So her life is kind of in the dumps a little bit. And that's where you see her job place, which is like this place called Crater Gym, where all the muscle bound freaks hang out and work out. There you meet Daisy, who is kind of like the flingy love interest played by Anna Baryshnikov. And
Maybe
she's
more of a result of convenience than romance.
yeah, she's like very flirty, unhygienic. She looks gnarly, and Lou kind of bats her away.
I was wondering if maybe you wanted to meet up later. Like, go to Winkies.
Oh. I gotta help Beth with some stuff. I gotta help her. It's boring.
Poor Lulu. Always looking out for her sis. You gotta remember your own needs too.
Her teeth are absolutely horrible.
It's like a Pirates of the Caribbean character. It's like out of
Great
control.
makeup.
Yeah.
Literally.
And then from there you meet Jackie, who's played by Katie O'Brien, who's like this muscle-bound hulk of a woman, and she is getting railed by JJ, Dave Franco. And it looks like a fling. She's discussing about a possible employment, and it turns out that place is a gun range, which is owned by Ed Harris's character, Lou Sr., who has a crazy fucking wig. And yeah, he owns and operates a gun range and the Crater Gym, and maybe some other things too that we're unsure of.
Interesting.
He looks like Vecna from Stranger Things.
Absolutely.
I wrote down Vecna motherfucker question mark.
Those cheekbones.
Yeah. Even when they show him in like that red light, I'm like, did I just put on Stranger Things? Like,
right.
He looks exactly like that.
He's great in this movie. I love him. Like he does.
He's so good.
That whole thread of him and his illegal operations and whatever he does really helps widen the movie a little bit, like basically help like world building. And I really enjoyed that plot thread.
Like you said it perfectly. Lou owns these two places. His daughter, Lou Jr., manages the weightlifting gym, the gym. I mean, literally she just sees Jackie working out, right? And is just like immediately like,
oh yeah, they star-crossed lovers. They lock eyes from across. It must be so wild to see like, a perfect specimen just like walking into your gym and just like pumping iron. I don't know. I was flustered watching that part.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it kind of sets up how Lou kind of has this like depressing life, right? And as soon as Jackie enters, it's like that's where her life and the rush of like love, of excitement and endorphins, the whole like thrill of this movie like hinges on that moment. And it's like with the music and just seeing her muscles, I'm like, oh, like buckle in. This isn't going to be your regular queer love story. This is something different.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they lock eyes and they're like, well, they're like kind of filling each other out. And also, again, before in the prior scene, you see her have sex with JJ, Dave Franco's character. So you're like, wait, is she, maybe she's bisexual? Like, what's her intentions with Lou? But, they do some flirting and Jackie's also gets like picked up on by a couple other gym rats.
Oh, speaking of, shout out to the initial guy. Let me find his name very fast. Shout out to Keith Jardine. He's from Inherent Vice. He plays a very similar character in Inherent Vice.
Oh, nice.
He's one of the Nazis in that movie. But he's awesome.
He gives Nazi vibes.
Yeah, he's a Nazi for sure. I forgot how fast they introduced steroids. It's like right away.
Yes. And like
before
not
they
that
leave
it was
the gym, right?
Unprompted. She just is like, I don't even know you. This is like 5 minutes in. She says she wants to compete. And she's like, wait, hold on a second. Let me run to the back. Yeah.
Which that part just like blew my mind. And she says specifically she gets them in bulk so she can get them for free.
Right.
Which I think we learn later is a lie. I watched like the first half. I got through the first half of this the second time. And that really stood out to me how quick Kristen Stewart's character Lou is to push steroids onto her. Because her it's kind of like against a lot of her other character kind of traits that we see throughout the movie.
Yeah, I mean, she kind of brushes it off because she's like, everyone does it. Like, you haven't done this before. And then Jackie's like, no, all natural. Like, this, I've built this.
She was like, yeah, in a good place, kind of.
Yeah, I was trying to think of it like Lou is kind of how I envision this character and how they set it up in the movie is kind of like toxic, and
Mhm.
not because she wants to be, right? She's kind of like a victim of her environment. This is like what she knows from her dad,
Mhm.
and she's kind of like tethered to her family and hasn't left this town because she has to like keep tabs and fix everyone along with like the toilet
Right.
and whatnot. And so maybe she doesn't recognize like toxic behavior and has those tendencies in her. And so with her seeing Jackie, she's just like, oh, I know what love is. And it's like, here's another thing that's like,
Yeah.
I want to help you, but it's not helpful. It's like, this movie is like all about self-destruction, and it's like Lou kind of kickstarts that.
It's
They
interesting.
kickstart that in each other.
Yeah. Again, it's interesting
Yeah.
too because it's like
Kicking
hard to
the
know
butt.
what Jackie's intentions are because you find out when
Yeah.
she's coming through town from Oklahoma trying to get to Vegas for a bodybuilding competition, which she tells Lou when she meets her. But then she says that I have no place to live. All these, it just seems almost
Mhm.
like she's using her for the purpose of, you know, basically achieving this goal. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't. It almost seems like it almost seems like they're using each other. Like like
Yeah.
Lou's using her as like some sort of escapism, and then Jackie's using Lou as some sort of like I actually like you're just
A means to an end, kind of.
exactly.
Or like
Even
their
though-
love is not unconditional in a way.
Yes.
They're what
The
they can
passion is
serve each
real for
other.
sure. They
Yeah.
make that
The
very
passion is very
clear.
real.
There's a montage. There's a sex montage that's
Yeah.
wild. Good for them.
I love that montage.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, it's not just sex. It's
intense.
like I believe their love in that moment. You feel like, oh, this is like drugs.
It's like fast forwarded. Like they're like
Yeah.
the passion is like 100.
Yeah, and like she's like building. It's completely again. It's everything in this movie is just like about endorphins. It's
Mhm.
like you get it from drugs, you get it from love, you get it from sex, you get it from like it's
Interesting.
firing on all cylinders, and like even just the thrill of like I know we haven't gotten to it yet,
No,
but
no.
like the like murder, you know,
Yeah,
like
huh?
and that rush. It's just like I wrote down like this movie reminds me of like just a single word, and it's just like rush.
Mhm.
That's what you feel.
Yeah, Rush Hour.
Yeah, Rush Hour. No, Rush by Troye Sivan.
Right.
Premium Rush, next movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
But yeah, that's how I interpreted.
No, I love that. I
That.
didn't.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I didn't pick up on that theme specifically, so that's really cool because it totally is like about chemicals,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Love
Yeah.
chemicals, testosterone or whatever HGH
Mhm.
chemicals. Like that's cool. Maybe alien chemicals foreshadow something I want to talk about once we
Yes.
get there. So in this whole intro, there's a big focus on space or the starry sky again. I'll just say because as we leave the gym again, there's these shots where there's very distinct starry sky. But outside the gym, Jackie is hit on by a couple of gym rats or whatever you call them, big buff guys, and one of them grabs her and she socks him in the face really hard. And this is after she's taken the first steroid,
Yeah.
right?
So she's already
Mhm.
one muscle's
Is
already
that what
bulging.
is that what we're thinking? Did she already have a bulgy muscle moment at this point? So throughout the movie, her muscles,
yet.
there's like close-ups of her muscles bulging in really
Mhm.
extreme, like grotesque ways. And again, not again. This movie mixes surreal and
Mhm.
realism a lot, and I'm never quite sure where it's landing.
Yeah, it almost feels like this is Jackie's interpretation of her muscle, like of her body expanding.
How she
you know,
feels,
and then
kind
as
of.
the audience are seeing that, if there is one word I could say about this movie, it's visceral. There's like so
Visceral,
many
nice.
noises and squelches, and again,
It's so true.
the sound design in this movie is like incredible. Like, I absolutely adored it. I loved it so much.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna
It's
watch
like-
this movie, like put on a great pair of headphones.
It is super gritty. Like everything about it is disgusting, complimentary,
Mhm.
not disgusting, derogatory. Like they really enhance that atmosphere and just how like how I interpret, because like all these love stories you would think are like so pure, so sweet,
Right.
so romantic, right? Like it's very like pastel and
Mhm.
clean and pure. And this is kind of showing you how love is a little tainted, right? It's not clean, it's not perfect. It's can be incite like possessiveness and
Mhm.
jealousy and kind of like the worst parts of yourself. Mm. You can
And
bring
that's
that
like the
out in each
truest form
other.
of love, though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Love
It's
story,
like,
more like lust story.
yeah.
Kind of the purest like love story. I felt a lot of PTA in this, and I feel like
Mm.
PTA is like the master of like fucked up love stories. Because like Punch Drunk Love is definitely a story that's like ultimately about like two people fitting the right way, even though there's like not great things. And then Phantom Thread as well.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that because I feel like a lot of representation of queer
Mhm.
love stories always end with
Tragic.
Yeah.
someone dying, or it's
Yeah,
like their
totally.
love is the struggle, and that's not like the violence that gets incited
Mhm.
of Jackie killing JJ is not out of self-defense. Like no one was attacking her because she was gay or
Right.
because anyone was against them being together.
No, that's
It was literally
totally
just fueled by steroids and Jackie being like, "Oh, I don't like seeing Lou upset,
Right.
and
It's
this guy's an asshole." So that's like refreshing, and I really like that about this story. It
yeah.
isn't about that
never
struggle.
never
Well,
Yeah,
comes up,
yeah,
right?
the queerness is like a non-factor in this story,
yeah.
which is like it's both it's rewarding and also just it's just nice. It's just it doesn't have to it's like there's not like a background noise happening. It's just like
Mm-mm.
it's just the story.
Yeah, there's actually a specific scene too where they are talking like in bed and she's like, "Why don't you want to work for your dad?" Jackie asks Lou and Lou goes, "Well, we don't get along." And then Jackie goes, "'Cause you're gay?" She's like, "No, he doesn't care about that. He's
Yeah.
just psychotic." And I was like, "You know what? Yeah, he may be a homicidal maniac, but he's not
But he's an
homophobic."
ally.
Yeah,
No,
Like
he's
but he's
he's
an
he's
ally.
definitely accepted his daughter and
yeah.
like is like
Yeah.
cool with her
He
being like his son, kind in a cool way.
yeah, he raised a
Yeah.
killing machine, but he didn't care, who he dated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, like Lou. I do we think that she was named Lou for like Lou Ferrigno and who plays like Hulk, and it
Mm.
kind of has that Hulk imagery. That's
Like
like a
meta the
reference to
meta
Hulk.
thing. Oh,
I mean,
totally.
Yeah,
now that's all I can think of. So that might be the
yeah.
only answer.
I was like
I
Lou.
think
I
you're
was.
right.
I
Because there's
like
definitely full She-Hulk. I'll say She-Hulk, but Hulk moments where she
Mhm.
like this was. I seriously wonder if they wanted to do a She-Hulk movie for Marvel, and Marvel was like, "That's way too like artsy and like weird for
Yeah,
a Marvel movie." Because this is like, if this was She-Hulk, you could do basically the same movie and just end it with it being real, instead of
yeah.
where I think it ends here, where it most of the surreal stuff isn't real. Was my interpretation. It is like people's perception of things.
mm,
This is my She-Hulk, by the way. Like,
Right?
yeah.
Me too. Like this is what's possible.
hmm. Well, I
I
like
agree.
both.
Yeah.
Did you watch the TV show?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Oh, okay,
I actually
cool.
thought it was pretty
So-
funny.
Oh, I thought
no,
you were
that's
quoting
awesome.
quoting Jackie when Lou was confronting her about her
Oh, I'm
sexuality. I
Oh
was
my
like, that's a
gosh,
bisexual.
good
nice.
tie-in.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to do.
Yeah.
That's
She literally said, "I like both."
I like both.
Well, it's interesting. On my first rewatch, I kind of forgot about the whole montage of the movie showing what a scumbag Lou Senior is, and you kind of get it shows you that I guess he's like an arms dealer.
Mm,
He deals in like the black market in some way.
yeah.
So he's a bad dude, and also Lou Junior, Lulu, let's call her, gets visited by the FBI too, being like, "Hey, we want to talk to you about your dad." Blah blah blah. And you, as the audience, have no idea what they're referencing until you see like that little montage of him boxing up guns and shipping them out. And also, there's references to like what you said, Caleb, that valley, that cave thing that seems to have a very very dark story
Almost
behind it.
mystical
Yeah,
aura to it. The red light is really interesting.
Yeah. It also brings up like the disappearance of Lou's mom or
right.
like what happened to her. And so I don't know if we're
No,
going to discuss this
Let's
yet.
go
bounce
get in. Yeah,
around.
feel free.
Okay,
Feel
we'll
free.
bounce
No,
around.
I think we set the
Okay.
stage well enough where we can kind of get into stuff now.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to know your guys's input on whether Lou's dad was telling the truth
Mm.
about Lou's mom or do we believe it? Like, what do we actually think happened, or like what that significance is?
It's weird because I feel like this whole movie is just kind of up to your interpretation. Like even in that, when Lulu asks Lou Senior about the mom, basically whether she died or ran off, like he doesn't even give an answer. Like, and it's not a straight answer. So you as the audience, you're just like not sure of like
because
who's telling the truth or like what to believe.
and for context, his response is basically like she didn't love you and she didn't
Right.
love me, and like he
She
does
didn't
just
want to be a
kind of
wife.
not directly answer the question
Right.
of did you kill her though? Like those
Yeah.
things may all be true. I think he did
It makes
personally.
it
I
makes
kept thinking
sense.
we were going to see a flashback of it because one thing that starts coming up is we see flashbacks of Kristen Stewart at the red crevasse. And so we start to realize that she probably had been included in some of her
Right.
dad's murder activities, which becomes pretty important throughout the rest of the movie.
It's so funny because in those flashbacks they give Kirsten Stewart like a long wig to make her like look young, and then they
Yeah.
show Ed Harris and he looks exactly the same. He just has the same wig in the same area.
To be fair,
Okay.
Ed Harris has looked the same for like
It-
25
That's
years in real
absolutely
life.
true. I would also like
so-
maybe give him like a different hat or something.
I think I remember reading in the trivia that it was a joke. Like he just showed up to set like that,
Yeah.
thinking that he was going on a bit.
Wait,
but
his
then
whole look for the movie?
yeah, like his hair was completely like a bit, and then the director's like, "No, let's run with
It
it. Like keep
works
the
though.
cameras rolling."
It's
Yeah, I was
awesome.
like, creepy bug guy, arms dealer,
Tiger King
like
kind of vibes.
Tiger
Yeah.
King, absolutely, Caleb.
Yes.
A little bit like mullet adjacent.
So I believe it, but I think I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he murdered her, but I can also see the argument of maybe
Like,
she did leave them.
yeah, and I
Um,
could see that being sadder that way because then Kristen Stewart, it's like she wants to put the murder on her dad because it's worse if her mom ran from her on her own will, you know?
Yeah.
yeah. Or it could just be like she didn't want to be tethered to a marriage, and it kind of like makes it a lot sadder in the way that Beth is her sister and is unable to leave a marriage that
Oh
is
yeah.
obviously miserable. And then Lou has never left this town, right? Because she feels like she needs to like take care and keep tabs on her family. But I feel like her mom having discovered agency
Mhm.
this whole time, and Lou didn't see it until she saw Jackie. It's kind of just like, whoa, it's a kind of a full circle moment there.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, at least take Beth with you. You know what I mean? Like you
Right.
Oh,
lost
poor
Lou
Beth.
Jr. You know, sure you shot a dude in the head. Just take
She doesn't even
Beth.
have JJ anymore.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah, that
JJ.
we haven't talked about that, but
Oh, yeah?
the JJ and Beth relationship is
Yeah.
really awful.
Just
Basi-
classic abusive
yeah,
thing where
basic-
she
Mhm.
yeah, go ahead.
No,
Sorry
no,
about
no,
that.
you're spot on. Yeah, so Beth, the sister of Lulu, every time you see her, she has a new injury, whether it's like a broken arm, kind of a smacked around face, and then you know that Lou is catching on, or Lulu is catching on to like the situation where JJ's obviously a bad guy because he cheated on his wife with Jackie. She hates JJ and wants to kill him, wants to destroy him for basically just beating on him on her sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she kind of says as much too. There's like a breaking point where the Beth is beat so bad by
Yeah.
JJ, she's knocked unconscious and seems to be in like some sort of coma in the hospital. And at that point, Kristen Stewart's talking big game, and she's saying she's telling her dad she wants to kill JJ basically, and she just mentions it to Jackie as well. And at this point, she's
roid rage.
She's
Yeah.
full. Yeah, she's flipped a little bit. She'll get crazier throughout the movie, but she is under the influence of a rage substance. So she goes and just literally punches his face
Off.
into
Onto-
oblivion.
Into a coffee table.
Oh,
that was
man.
like every time they cut to that,
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
like,
crazy.
ugh.
And like, so his face is just concaved, and his lower jaw and his teeth are just kind of
Non-existent.
bouncing around.
Yeah.
And there's a point. So Jackie murders him. Lou shows up and she's like, "Oh my God, what did you do?
Mhm.
This wasn't actually what I was talking about." She does show up at the house first, or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, because then she starts to move the body, and the jaw rattles
Yeah, it's
Oh
around
gross.
god, yeah.
in his face hole when she's moving it, and it was one of the most disturbing moments of the whole movie to me. It was absolutely people's faces getting smashed is always a tough one. Curb stomps.
And you could
Um,
hear it. You could
Yeah,
that
yeah,
that's part of
again,
the
the sound
squelching you're
design,
talking
Ian. Yep,
about.
yeah.
yep.
Oh.
Again, hints of Midsommar, like just like
Yeah,
absolute a lot
totally.
of head trauma.
A very similar loose jaw in
Yeah, they got the
Midsommar
same dummy, I think.
with Anderson or Anderson, Bjorn
Yeah,
Anderson.
Bruron.
Oh man. Yeah, they're in it at this point, and immediately Lou kind of helps her hide the body and stuff. So Lou is also involved, even though at this point she really hasn't done
Well, what
anything.
she does is she takes the car, JJ's car, to the crevice because she's like, they're gonna see the explosion, they're gonna find all the dead bodies, will be clean.
Yes, so she's gonna set up her dad
Right.
now. She's like, if I dump this, they'll just pool them all together, and
Right.
no one will even think twice about this latest one.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. And so they set it on fire to draw attention to the crevasse.
Exactly.
I'm not even trying to say it like that. I just can't say it normal
Crevasse, yeah.
anymore. Crevice. Yeah, and so they start the fire. Lou again has a history with these things, so she kind of knows what she's doing.
She like was
she's
in control of the situation because she goes back to the house to clean up everything. So you feel like, oh, she's done this at least a few times.
she knows how to hide a
Right.
body, and so Lou is like, Jackie, the one thing I need you to do is stay home. Like, we're gonna take care of it. We just have to lay low for a couple days. And Jackie has had a big competition in Las Vegas that the whole thing has been about.
A lot of montages of her working out, all leading up to this
muscles,
moment.
A lot of close-ups with the muscles getting engorged.
Can I actually say something really fast? The grossest scene in the whole movie is there's a scene where she's doing pull-ups, and then she's like struggling to do the last one. And then Lulu's like, come on, pulls out her lighter under her foot and gets her, and then she falls, and then she puts her foot in her mouth,
Yeah.
Lulu puts Jackie's foot in her mouth to like suck away the burn or
The
whatever.
heat.
And then because I watch all these movies with the titles with the captions, and then in quotations it says nail cracking, like she bit the nail.
Oh,
dude, it was the grossest thing I've ever heard. It was awful.
I didn't catch that. Thank God.
I didn't catch that either.
It was
but
so gross. Again, a noisy movie. But yeah, that was probably that really took me out of it for a second.
That's understandable. Props to Kristen Stewart and Katie O'Brien for going full.
Dude, they have chemistry.
Full bore in this
Yes.
movie. Another thing I was thinking about this movie, it's another movie about like female bodies being like key to people's success. Like in this case, she's like abusing her own body to try to achieve this goal, but comes up very often on the show recently. I can't help but notice.
At least they're the ones doing it. You know what I mean? At least they're in charge of their bodies.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It is kind of an empowering self-abuse. Which
makes you feel good at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is happy ended.
Speaking of that, like why Jackie is so jacked, like she has like this moment too where they're talking about her past, and she was saying that she used to be like a fat kid and she was like
that's
bullied.
right.
And so again, you can see her body and her goals to be a reflection of that, right? She just like needs to be empowered and feel empowered. And she even has that moment with the dad, right? She's like, it's easy to hide behind metal, but I want to know my own strength.
Yeah, I was
so
like,
yeah,
okay.
you definitely see her like coming into her own and using her body to literally have that power. So I thought that was like really awesome.
Absolutely, Victoria. And also the best part is she does not wear pants at any time throughout the movie.
And it's great.
She's in the shortest shorts and no sleeve shirts, and it's like it's all in all of its glory. It's terrific.
So 80s.
Yeah.
Very like 80s workout vibes constantly.
I saw this movie and did 2 push-ups. I was like, she's
for
inspiring me. Like,
yeah, I think
I'm going to the gym.
Yeah, I was definitely like flexing during the whole watch. I like subconsciously just like.
I need a Crater Jim shirt.
Dude.
Like I need one so badly.
I scoured online for one,
Yeah.
and all you could find is those
Oh my
shitty,
gosh.
shitty Crater Lake shirts on Redbubble.
And Crater Lake even is a reference to space because a crater, is from something
Oh.
falling from space. Another interesting space reference. I'm going to start peppering these
Let's
in
do it.
because I found that part of the movie very interesting. The titles of the movie, the titles that I assume are for the director, I didn't look it up, are two bunny rabbits coming out of a UFO and jumping into a car and driving through the desert, which felt very much related to this movie.
When did you see this? What is this?
It's the very last title before the movie actually starts. It's like a pink animated thing.
Oh,
if you want to look at it.
See that.
Okay, so
here we go.
At this point, we're seeing these huge muscles growing. And then is this the point where she tells him that she slept with JJ?
No, they already knew
Dad
that.
told her.
They knew that. Well, she just
So we
told her
already
like
had
you
the
need
fallout.
There was a
to.
fallout,
Yeah,
but
she's
a
like you need
quick.
to lay low.
Right, yeah, and then Jackie roid raged, freaked out, and punches
And just
her.
and
Headbutts her.
hitchhikes to Las
Right.
Vegas with some random hippie van.
But an important part was like I was always gonna go, and that kind of ties back to like Ian's point of being like, is she just using Lou like at any cost? She sleeps with JJ. JJ is not a
She's a
charming
drifter.
guy. Yeah, she's a drifter. She kind of needs to
Do what she needs to do.
Mhm.
do what she needs to do to like
Yeah.
achieve this goal. And so whether or not she killed somebody, she's like, well, I was always gonna go. And it's interesting too, like in the beginning, I think JJ says like be careful where you like sleep at night
Yeah.
or whatever. And
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
the next scene, it's like she sleeps at loose, and that obviously opens up a whole other can of worms.
So
So it's like
it was like
whether or not
the genie's twist.
yeah, she's gonna go to the competition at all costs.
So yeah, she's there as a viewer. We no longer feel safe with her at all. She's out of control.
Yeah.
And she hallucinates that she is at the edge of the red crevice.
So during this hallucination, she's like on the edge, like Caleb said, on the edge of this crevice, and then you see her kind of like start to vomit out what you think is just vomit, and then it turns out it's a fully fledged Lulu, Kirsten Stewart's
Full
character, full adult, covered in slime, and you're like, oh, cool. And then it turns out that she just vomited on the stage. And then everyone's like laughing at her, like truly awful. Again, I don't know if this is what she's interpreting, but people are laughing at her. And then again, with the captions, it says, look at that fatso, or like, what a fat, or maybe like fat bitch or something. I'm just like, she looked, that's crazy.
No, she looked great.
Also, during the steroid usage, she like views people differently. Like everyone seems to almost have like googly eyes. Everyone is like kind of distorted. So she sees like three fellow bodybuilders on the side stage, and she just goes after one and just like starts like freaking railing her. And they pull her off, and then she goes into central booking. So she gets arrested.
She had to have killed that lady, I was thinking too.
I mean, her punches are like
Hole
1,000
punches.
hammers.
Yeah.
Like,
So that had to have been like manslaughter at least.
yeah.
So she gets booked, and Lou Sr. comes to pick her up.
Yeah,
bails her out.
This part kind of was weird because they're like, you get one phone call, and then she calls him, which I'm like, why? What was the reasoning behind that? Like, she was always known or told not to trust him. I was kind of confused about that. Like, why that was her singular call and not Kirsten Stewart. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It helps with the
Do
story.
you have thoughts on it, Victoria?
I honestly forgot that part, but
God.
I'm assuming, and this is again my interpretation, is maybe she at a certain point it shows like a little bit of doubt in her relationship with Lou.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, why wouldn't she call Lou first? But maybe she's kind of thinking how Lou didn't really fix things.
That's true.
And so she needs to go to Big Daddy Lou, who's kind of more of the
BDL.
authority, BDL, who's more of the expert and maybe can like help out. Maybe she
Good point.
feels like he has more expertise in that.
That's a
like,
great point.
let me take it to upper management.
Right.
Lou kind of fumbled right here.
And I felt like maybe she was embarrassed, like she had betrayed Lou Jr. Where I felt like too, she was like accepting that
Right.
relationship she had burned. Where she was like,
Interesting. She's like, okay, it's over.
I fucked up that.
Right.
Yeah, I got to figure
Yeah.
out a new way to survive, and this guy knows how to survive.
Exactly.
Well, BDL gives her a job to do. He's like,
Oh my
hey,
god.
also
Big Daddy Lou? What's BDL?
Big Daddy Lou. Yeah.
It
Big
is
Daddy
okay.
Lou.
I think Victoria coined that. I'm not taking credit for that at
I
all.
love
No,
it.
you that was you. Rub the
Okay,
tape.
okay.
Stop trying to push things on Victoria.
But no, yeah, she picked this movie. So BDL, she calls BDL and he comes pick her up and he says, hey, I know what you guys did. We need to get rid of basically all the evidence, meaning there was someone who saw you guys together. And who
he
was
knows
that,
about
Caleb?
Daisy already somehow. It was Daisy.
It was Daisy.
They just by chance, it's one of those bad luck moments.
Right.
Daisy just happens to pass them when they're driving JJ's car and the truck. So highly suspicious considering JJ has disappeared.
Also, Daisy knows, like she knows that something's up and she threatens Lou Jr. being like, I was going to tell the cops, but basically give me a reason not to. Again, she's like infatuated with Lulu. All she wants is
She's
like
obsessed.
to basically be with her all the time.
It's like Moaning Myrtle and Harry.
Exactly. Like Moaning Myrtle.
She kind of looks like Moaning Myrtle a
A
little
bit.
She's got those toilet teeth.
Oh God. What a phrase. What a sentence.
I've never heard. Yeah, that's good. We're coining that. That's going on a t-shirt. That's going on a t-shirt.
Poetic. I kind of love that. Let's call her toilet teeth.
She's got toilet teeth. That's what they said in Harry Potter.
I lost it. Where are we in the train of thought?
Daisy.
So Daisy's like, hey, I know, blah, blah, blah. And then they go back, they get breakfast together, they go back to Lou Jr.'s apartment. And then it's in one of the craziest, like 1-2 punch scenes ever. They get back to Lou Jr.'s apartment. Daisy throws up, and then Lou Jr.'s like, oh man, turns around, and then you hear another and then just blood everywhere. And Jackie has shown up and shot Daisy in the face. And you're just like, what the hell? And it's deja vu. She has to bury another body.
Yeah. And let me tell you, when I saw that in theaters, I like wanted to audibly gasp.
Oh, yeah.
And no one did. I was like, no one else is no one reacted in this entire movie when I watched it. I was like, you guys are crazy. I like am screaming internally.
It was cuckoo.
So was it did you feel like an intimate connection with the people since it was such a small crowd and such like a weird kind of a crazy movie, or it sounds like they were checked out?
Not at all. Yeah, I just maybe they didn't get it. I was like, I don't know if they're seeing the humor of this movie or like reacting to the very planned visceral reactions this movie wants you to have.
Right.
Like they're just not reacting, and I'm just like, I'm wincing, I'm laughing, I'm like having a normal reaction to this movie, and I don't think people were, or they just were quiet about it, and I'm just in my own little universe. But
that's
I
hilarious.
still felt that way watching it, like on our rewatch on
for sure
streaming.
Again, it just it just hits it, like literally, figuratively and literally. Like it's just like you don't expect it to come, and then it does, and then there you go.
It was so well done, but I don't know, like the way that she covers up Daisy's body, just like putting her behind the couch,
Dude,
and then like having FBI agent or like whatever that agent come in. I was like, how do you not? It's not hidden well, like.
And the blood, the cat drinking the blood, is such a great detail.
I love that
where she
scene.
like looks over and yeah.
So the FBI agents come and kind of grill her about just the situation of what's going on, and you know they're coppers. Also, this is where you find out that JJ, Dave Franco's character, was an informant. He was basically feeding the FBI information about Lou's BDL, Big Daddy Lou. He was just a shithead on all levels, on all fronts. Just a bad guy.
Yeah, and so one of the other complaints I read about this was that the third act gets a little crazy, like convoluted and long, like the pacing.
Yeah.
And it does kind of lose a little steam, I would agree. When I was trying to write out an outline for this, it was hard for me to keep track of what happened in the third act because there is a lot of craziness. Like Ian said, we have another dead body with like a severe facial wound that needs to be hid. So you are getting a little bit of like a deja vu here. But she hides that body in her apartment.
No, she brings it with her. Yeah. So basically, after the FBI agents leave, she calls the dad to be like, "I'm coming for you. Where the fuck is Katie? I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna tell the FBI everything." And then
that's when she finally is like, I'm gonna tell on you.
Basically, yeah, she's gonna finish the
Dude,
job, essentially.
I love that part so much where the dad just goes silent and she's like, Dad? She like goes back into kid
Mhm.
mode.
Are you threatening me?
Yep. Yeah, let her go or I'm gonna call the feds right now and tell them everything you ever did. How's that sound, Dad? Dad?
That was really stupid, honey.
Yeah, she's still always like will be the daughter to him at a certain point. That role doesn't get erased. Yeah.
So he's sitting there and he on his end sends his little cop minion. He's got a cop
Oh,
on
yeah.
payroll and he's like, go. He doesn't even say anything. He just like nods at him and he goes. And then Lou Senior, to his credit, is a little heartbroken. He does cry like in that moment. Like he clearly loves Lou Jr., but
Yeah, this
not
is
as
not
much as
easy
his
for
freedom.
him, you know.
No. So the cop shows up to the house, but Lou Jr. gets the jump on him.
Again, she's like a badass, like at this moment. She's kind of like James Bondy, Mission Impossible style. She like sees him in the reflection.
I think she gets a giant shot in this where it's shot from below and she looks huge while she's beating him up. So even though she's not on steroids or a weightlifter, there's also moments where she gets to look huge. And I feel like that is like, I almost feel like the muscles in this and the representation of feeling strong is more based on how they feel with their relationship than it is the drugs or the steroids. Because Kristen Stewart has a similar arc where she is like, feels powerful in certain moments, even though she's not taking any steroids that we know of.
Jackie's the steroid.
Yeah. That gun is the steroid. She likes that metal. So she goes to this palatial house, excuse me. Goes to the house. Basically, again, like no one's there. She's trying to find their dad. She's calling out for her dad. Beth is there, the sister, and they kind of have an argument. She knows that Jackie was responsible for killing JJ. They get in a little tiff, and then she tells Lulu basically where Jackie is. Oh, also we didn't mention that or did we? That Lou Senior basically kidnaps Jackie.
Yeah.
Right. So he has her. So Beth ends up telling her where Jackie is. She finds Jackie all tied up, lets her go. Jackie still kind of roided out of her mind, kind of was like, get off me, blah, 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 freaks out, shoves Lou Jr. And what else happens? I'm blanking.
I don't recall at all. Like in my sequence of events, like there's that moment where Lou and Beth have a face off and then Lou does something so horrible to her sister who's already like beaten up, like grabs her face.
Yeah, her swollen face.
Her swollen face
right.
and like, this is this abused sister that she's always protected. And then now look at her being the abuser to her sister to get information on where Jackie is. I'm like, oh shoot. And that's when she goes, love you, sis.
Yeah,
like,
I love that part.
Oh, sorry. Like, forgive me for that little thing. I gotta go find my girl. And then doesn't Lou free Jackie, like cuts her, and then Jackie runs away, and then Lou jumps on Jackie. They have a little
And
scuff.
shot her in the leg, I think,
No,
right
that's
before he jumps on
Lou
her.
Jr. Lou Senior does. So basically, Lulu,
they run away.
Yeah, LJ, Lou Jr., LJ tells Jackie, get out of here. Like, I need to go finish off my dad. I need to finish business. So Jackie's gone. And then as she's trying to find the dad, BDL, Big Daddy,
Big Daddy Lou.
So many fucking names.
No, BDL and LJ works.
Okay,
for me.
BDL shoots LJ. We should have done this at the top of the episode. BDL shoots LJ, and he's like, I got you, motherfucker, blah, blah. He doesn't actually say that, but I don't remember what he says. Anyway, but then LJ tells like, hey, it's already over. I already told the FBI they're on their way here. And as this is happening, Lou Jr. is like torturing her by putting his finger in the bullet wound. He's like, just basically like, you're done for. And as this is happening, Jackie, who's run off, can hear LJ's screams. And this is when the movie not only makes a left turn, puts on the handbrake and just starts doing donuts.
Yeah.
It just starts going crazy.
Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift style.
Victoria, do you want to explain what happens?
Yeah. So at the end, BDL is
That's right.
pinned his LJ and is like putting his finger into this bullet wound, and then you see Jackie like almost feel that pain along with hearing the scream, and it makes her muscles like convulse and bulge even more, and you see her return, and she isn't little Jackie anymore.
No,
She's
no, no.
big
No.
screen Nicole Kidman, dazzling image, like
She's BDJ.
No,
Big
she's
Bad
BJ
Jackie.
she's
for sure.
oh yeah, she's huge. Big J,
Ironically.
She-Hulk. She's taking up this entire screen, and it shows her like pick up the dad and just kind of wrestle with him almost like a baby with a toy.
And like
Yes.
twist his arms
Twist his
and you hear
arms.
cracking.
Yeah, and
Oof.
so it also references an earlier scene that we see in the movie. They like to do that a lot with
Mhm.
a lot of the things in the background referencing the themes of the movie, but you see
Hmm.
a cartoon image of this scene
Right,
happening
right.
earlier in a montage, and so it's like replicating that scene from the screen, and so yeah, so
Yeah, it's like a 50s, 40s
yeah,
cartoon of a
cartoon.
giant like picking up little
Right.
people and throwing them or
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah, totally.
basically an homage to whatever that movie was with the big woman, the
Oh,
50-foot
yeah.
woman, right?
Attack of the 50
Here's the thing, though. Okay, here's the thing. So the three of us, we've
Yes.
discussed is we're like, this movie's open to interpretation. We are not quite sure how the characters react as if it's real, right?
Yeah.
BDL looks up at her like in amazement, and
Mhm.
as does LJ, Lou Jr.
Yeah.
So now I'm just like, oh, did this actually happen? Like the movie's telling us is basically telegraphing that she bigicized her, she engorged herself, which
Yeah.
I don't like that I don't know. This is the part that I bump on obviously the most because it's the most like out of control scene in the movie. And then also you get the sequence right after where it's basically two of them huge, but they're wearing like sparkly like outfits, like running through
Mhm.
clouds. And you're supposed to be like, wait, is this like a little like dreams atmospheric? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think at the
I love
end,
that
we're
shot.
not supposed to interpret it literally.
I
It's kind
know.
of a I know, yeah, but I imagine it's a reflection of what they're feeling,
Right.
right? Like Lou is seeing her
Like
lover,
her hero, yeah.
yeah, her hero kind of dominate
her.
her dad,
Who's
and it
her
could
villain.
only
Literally,
see
she's had flashbacks of his red face the whole movie.
Right.
yeah, and so her dad is like weak, and you see him like she takes away the gun, another callback to like the
I was gonna
beginning,
say, yeah.
and he's just like this weak man,
Mhm.
and this woman who knows his strength, like conquering him. And
Right.
so in Lou's eyes, she sees how big Jackie is,
Right.
and Jackie feels as big as she feels when she's taking him over. And then at the end,
Also
they just
taking
feel
care of her. Yeah.
taking
Right.
care of her, and they feel larger than life, and they're soaring through the galaxy in a again a rush of adrenaline, drugs, love. There's like huge feelings there. So I'm like, it's probably a actual
Poetic.
manifestation
Right.
of like what they're feeling and not literal. I know you didn't think it was literal,
No,
but
I
it was
did.
a choice.
But
Oh, you did? So it was a choice to reflect it in that way, like to portray it that way,
Right.
because the movie plays it pretty grounded in reality, minus like drug stuff. And then
Yeah,
this
right.
takes a very surreal, dreamlike ending.
I enjoy I said I didn't like I enjoy the swing. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
like and also I was reading that this director, their previous movie, Saint Maud, kind of has a similar ending too, in that it's like kind of like a very like open to interpretation type of situation, which I don't want to give it
Yeah.
away, but like I don't know. Caleb, did that take you out the first time you saw this?
No, it was definitely like I was like, oh, that's an awesome visual.
Yeah. But they visualize that as a hallucination or whatever. Like it's just that moment at the end, there's other people interacting with it.
Right.
So that's why I'm
Yeah.
just like, okay.
Meaning the
Yeah.
dad when she.
Yeah, the dad and LJ are both acknowledging the existence of this giant woman.
Yeah, it's like you don't have a cut
Interesting.
back to reality.
Right.
The movie kind of uses that, like this is the
Or
reality.
yeah, they
now.
don't use like a camera angle
That's
to show like
true.
shooting from below. You know what
She's
I mean?
just CGI
Yeah.
huge at
Yeah,
that point.
but
yeah.
yeah.
Or like a cut to see like what actually is happening.
Right.
Like,
So to play devil's advocate, I still hope and still think there's room for her to be an alien, though.
Okay,
So
let's
that was
talk.
the
We
big
need to talk
thing.
about this right now.
So there's
that's interesting.
so much space references. And maybe the idea is just saying they are alien in this world where they're, gay. It's the 80s and they're in this like hick town with
Mhm.
like gun people. It's like really not. And so it definitely could be symbolic of just where their characters are at. But it is extremely interesting. This movie, like I said, starts from the red depths of hell and just goes straight up into the night sky and then pans down onto our small Nevada town, New Mexico town. New Mexico
Guess where it's
town.
close by to?
I was gonna say Roswell.
Roswell.
Of course it is. I'm surprised I didn't even mention it. And that's a Star Wars beginning. Starting on stars and panning
Right.
down
And
to
has
the
the
planet
crawl too and
is
everything.
100% a Star Wars. Yeah, literally
Gives you the whole
Oh shit, I
plot.
missed that.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta rewatch this.
BDL is an arms dealer. Oh, sorry.
There's no doubt in my mind that the people wanted us to be thinking about like space.
Mm.
And I'm still not totally sure like why. Honestly, and I'm probably overthinking it, but that's like what I love to do with movies. So let's overthink
I mean,
it.
I would say Jackie has like an otherworldly quality to her, both in like just like physique. I mean, her character is not like, what does this thing do? Like, obviously, she is of Earth, but yeah, I agree. Like, she like kind of just like comes. It's like she comes out of nowhere. She like just comes into town.
And Kristen Stewart asks her, "Where did you appear
Right.
from?"
Interesting.
And not where did you come from or where are you from? Where did you appear from is the phrase she uses.
Yeah,
which is very weird.
Did she come from Oklahoma?
She does, and also
That's what
she
said.
does
She
call her
appears
sister.
from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
She does
oh,
call the
wait,
sister
I
one
want to
time.
talk
Yeah.
about that.
Let's do
It
it.
would be funny. Sorry, real quick. Stupid
yeah.
joke. If when she calls the sister and the sister's like, and then you're like, wait, what? Okay, go ahead, Victoria.
Well, I first of all didn't even put together any kind of alien connection, or I didn't even notice space, I guess. But I can see those parallels, whether or not like we kind of have like an ET
Yeah.
story, right? Like it's this otherworldly being changes your world for the better. Here it took a little crazy turn, but yeah, it's kind of that storytelling device, I
Mhm.
guess. Something an otherworldly and shaking up the world you've always known. But that
I like
scene
that.
that Jackie has with she makes a phone call.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I thought she was calling her mom. I guess it's her sister.
It was mom and sister, I think, at one
Mom,
point. Yeah.
sister, or
Or
did she call
sister
someone
and
named Huey?
like niece.
I thought it was a sister because she tells her like, "Don't fall in love ever."
Yeah, don't fall in love ever. Well, either way, she calls like a family member on the phone and it sounds like a child.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, she's talking to a young kid and she's clearly distressed about everything that's happening because she's seeing how love has kind of ruined her life in this way. And then an adult voice, whether it's her mom, comes in and it's like, you monster, like never
Yeah.
come back here. And so I wrote down these questions of like her past, right? Because what we know about JJ's past is
Mhm.
again what she said. She used to be fat and she was bullied. But then
Oh yes.
her mom calls her a monster. And so I'm trying to think like, did she have a violent past? Like she did something and is running away because she has like very violent inclinations as a reaction to a lot of things. Like she punches that guy, she headbutts Lou.
No,
like
it's true, Victoria, and also she says, I think, talks to LJ, basically saying like, "I've killed people before," and you're not,
Yeah.
and you're not. You're supposed to be like, okay, well, yeah, we know, but
Oh, does
also,
she say that?
Yeah, but she already shot. I think that was when they killed. I mean, obviously they already killed JJ, but just the way she said it, it made it seem like she has like past like experiences with
I
this,
bet
like
you're
with
right.
violence. So I can totally see where Victoria's coming from.
Yeah, and like the reason why she wants to feel empowered is because again, she was bullied when she was younger, and so I think it's this like insecurity to again like bulk up and then is kind of like the victim of violence has also become very violent. And so she's kind of
Yeah, to make sure it never happens to her again. Like she doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I wouldn't be surprised if she has, like, done something if she has a history of violence because when she has this background of being, like, bullied and then
Mm,
bulking up like that, she's looking for a fight and
Yeah.
in a way to defend herself because she's always felt powerless.
And that line with the dad you mentioned earlier about how anybody could feel big behind a
mm,
metal piece of metal, but I want to
Mhm.
know my own strength. That kind of she had that prepped. It wasn't like she was
right.
sitting there thinking about
Yeah.
guns. Like she already had this strong opinion about guns and cowards hiding behind them. So I
Right.
wonder too if that has a hint to the violent
Yeah,
past.
she's definitely like crushed people's skulls in her hand, no doubt.
Yeah.
Um, we gotta talk about
Interesting.
the last scene in the movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, "What was it? Her big? No, there's another scene."
We get
Poor
a little
Daisy, dude.
I know.
epilogue. What is
Yeah,
afterwards?
so they're it's like happily ever after. They got away. They're driving with a dead body in the trunk. And as they're driving, Jackie's asleep. LJ's, driving and she hears a little thud in the back. She pulls over. Daisy's still alive. She
How
choked.
is that
I don't
possible? Like, I
know.
just don't know.
I don't know.
I was like, "What's the survival rate of being
Shot through the
shot?"
You get
cheek. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
She
I
looked
that
dead
is
as
a common
hell.
movie
Yeah.
trope.
She looked horrible. But so she chokes her out and then on the side of the road just digs her a grave. All in a
And
wide shot of like Katie sleeping or Jackie sleeping inside the truck. It's like
with
very
her in the background digging the
yeah.
hole for the body, and very like they're like camping, like a
Yes.
happy camping scene,
Mhm.
where everybody's doing their own thing. And if I remember correctly, when she kills Daisy, she's very nonchalant about it.
Oh, it
Like it
was
feels
like
like at
Mhm.
that point they're like, "Oh, we're on the run.
it's
Like
already done.
we're Bonnie and Clyde
Yeah.
now. Like we're not worried about it."
Yeah.
Which I thought was an interesting end place for her
Yeah, it
character,
was very
who
casual.
was seemingly very against all the violence for the most part. Like she's pretty mad that Jackie killed JJ.
It's an interesting turn for Lou because it rings true what her dad said. It's like, "You're just like me."
Mm,
And it's like she turns into
A
she
killer.
is she the turning point, like, in the name of and this is again, like, how love kind of poisons her. Like,
mm,
she abuses her sister, and then she chokes Daisy, and it's like, these are the 2, like, female presenting characters, like, in the way that they're named, like, Beth and Daisy have obviously feminine names, and Lou is, like, has, like, battered women, like, just
Yeah.
like her dad. She's become, like, a monster like her dad. Questionable whether I'm sure he has, but, like, yeah, she's just willing to do questionable and dark
mhm.
things in the name of love.
Which you bring that up, that's really interesting. I wonder if that is somewhat of a key to the answer of what happened to the mom. Because
Yeah.
if the movie's kind of giving us this poetic ending of where she is very similar to her dad, like he claimed, like he was
Mhm.
seemingly kind of right about that, that would probably clue to us that he didn't kill the wife and that the wife did leave him, because she would never kill Jackie. She Lou
Mhm.
compromises her morals every time, like
Yep.
every scene she's doing something for Jackie that she wouldn't have done before for love.
Yeah. And again, it, like, will, like, paint that parallel. It's why is Beth in an abusive relationship? Because it's something she was raised with and, like, seen as normal, as a
Yeah.
sign of love, and maybe, like, her mom left because it's like, "I don't wanna be a wife because being married to this man is abuse,
Mm.
whether physical or not. This just look at him. I'm sorry, like, I can't
That
imagine
haircut
him
is
being very
abusive.
Dude,
loving,
he
like,
eats bugs.
he eats bugs, but
Oh,
that's
that was
also,
messed
like
up, dude.
yeah, it's like he loves bugs, but he's, like, eating them, like, killing them?
Yeah.
No, he's bad.
Yeah, poetic as well.
He's bad.
It's like a
Interesting.
Greek myth.
And even when he eats the bug, it's not for any reason other than he's
Like
angry.
power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It wasn't like fear factor or anything where he was being
It's
pressured.
no, I think he's
Imagine
just
as
this,
a
like,
contestant on
crunchy
yeah.
crunchy snack, like, okay.
There's
Hey,
someone behind him
Beetle.
with like a briefcase of money. Like if you do this,
You did
here
it,
you
Joe
go.
Rogan.
Yeah.
And Joe Rogan was a fear factor
Yeah. Good
host. That's
times.
so crazy, man. Yeah, a really cool movie, and I like that it leaves a lot up to interpretation. That can be frustrating for me sometimes because I'm like very literal. I really want to know, was it real or not? And I do think it's pretty clear in this one that it is all not real. But even when I say that, I can't commit fully because, like you're saying, Ian, the giant scene has a lot of stuff. But overall, it's just a movie that one of my big complaints with like modern movies and especially like mainstream movies, but they want to tell you how to feel throughout the
Yeah,
movie
they
through
telegraph it the
dialogue,
entire
through
way.
music.
Yeah.
It's
I
very
hate
on
that.
the nose. Yeah. And it's like, let me wonder if I'm supposed to like this or not, or if I support this character or not. And this did a great job with that. Whereas, like, even now, I'm like, man, was Kristen Stewart kind of like the bad
Yeah,
guy the
no,
whole
seriously,
time?
now
Like,
I'm
she kind of
totally
is,
viewing it through
right?
that
Like,
lens.
Well, I could see that too, right? She introduces Jackie to steroids, and then in that moment, like from the point of view of Jackie, where she's having that hallucination, she's seeing like Lou as the bad guy, and
Mm.
that's why she throws her up. She's like, "Drugs are bad,
oh,
Lou's bad,
interesting.
Mm.
my
Nice.
body's
So she
rejecting
was,
this."
yeah,
So
totally.
yeah, if you were to ask Jackie in that moment, she's like, "Lou's a bad guy."
Mm.
Yeah, I've got
And
mixed up in the wrong stuff.
and again, I don't think there is a right
No,
answer,
I
but
don't think so.
I
I
just
think
love
love
No.
I
makes you
love
do
that.
crazy things is
Yeah,
like
the
Yes.
main thing. And you're lucky to find somebody that you're happy with. And if it's somebody who, like, I don't know, don't overthink like love, maybe is the real message.
It's, like, completely irrational. That's what it is, right?
Mhm.
It's like feeling. You can't the minute you try to rationalize love, like, you can't. This is what this movie is capturing. It's pure feeling
Mhm.
without logic or rational thoughts, right? Because it's like, "Oh, like, clearly Lou is upset. You're not gonna go kill someone over it," right? But it was a
Yeah.
pure reaction
Mhm.
because she saw someone she loved in pain. But to your point, Caleb, about what you said, that this movie, which I like, it shows and doesn't tell.
Yeah.
And M. Night
Big time.
Shyamalan needs to go to that school for a little bit because I do
Ooh,
like
M. Night
that.
shots.
Real quick, I do want to shout out Chris Manzel, who did the music.
Oh, that's right. Clint.
Clint, he would yeah. But again, like the soundtrack is amazing. Just all the keys, just like the synth, atmospheric kind of dreaminess of it just worked so well.
And I loved every single like the music for every montage,
Yes.
all those cues are
Yes.
I've been listening to Nice Mover like
Oh
over
yeah.
and over again.
So
Is that
good.
the one when she's at the weightlifting competition?
No, it's the one where they're first falling in love in that sex
Okay.
scene.
In the gym.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
in the gym, yeah, and I listened to the one at the competition a lot too.
It's very no
Um,
effectsy, very, very much like the Donnie Darko song.
Yes.
yeah.
Also, Martin Rev, the song called Whisper for the end credits, fantastic, so good.
Also, shout out to the haircuts.
Yeah, I mean, again,
Yes.
like the production value for is like impeccable, like truly, like I mean,
Yeah,
Dave Franco's mullet,
I was
his
gonna say
like
Dave
tucked
Franco
in,
has a great hair too. We kind of
yeah.
skipped that, but he's got a great look.
and
That was like the nastiest mullet I've ever
dude,
seen, and it's
it
so
was like
fitting.
knotted up. It was so gross.
He's a disgusting person in this.
Yeah.
Yes,
He is like very
he's a
disturbing.
scumbag.
He nails it.
Kirsten Stewart has never made like cigarettes look cooler. Like every time she
I
like,
know.
I loved her whole vibe.
This is a period piece, but you could tell me this is like from Silver Lake.
I
I'm
was
like,
gonna
yep,
say, right?
100%,
Yes.
100%.
All right. Should we get into some
Yeah.
reviews? I don't have any queued up,
Yeah.
Caleb. Do you?
I do.
Okay.
I'm gonna try this. I'll cut it if it feels too weird, but I do want to make this part of the show. I'm gonna read some of our Log It family to be extremely
Yay.
cheesy. I'm gonna read some of our reviews for this. Starting with Ian's, wouldn't mind being put in a headlock by Katie O'Brien. Our friend Andy Z says strong ass foo, which I love that one. And our good friend Victoria, sitting with us, says going to the endorphin factory.
Oh yeah.
Love Life's Bleeding. Y'all want anything? I'm sorry to embarrass you guys, but this is a little letterbox show, so I just felt I'll cut that out if
No,
it's
I
too
love it.
painful.
No,
And
yeah.
I did laugh at all those in real
We
life.
need to.
So
I mean, it's our show, so we have to like. No one
right,
else is
we
gonna
have
read our
to
reviews.
follow us on Letterboxd. Yeah, you guys.
You guys also made me like you guys influenced me, and now I can't stop letterboxing.
Hell
And
yeah.
I can't stop writing reviews for movies.
This is our steroids, you know. We
This is
we like to
this is-
inject our listeners.
when I'm typing a letterbox review, the muscles are going
Exactly.
crazy and the stretching noise
Yeah.
is happening in my brain.
My favorite thing right now, like my favorite like meme generator is like some like me writing my letterbox review, and it's like A Beautiful Mind, like writing like Russell Crowe writing all the numbers on it. It's just like I'm like, oh
And it's
yeah,
like
that's
one
exactly how I
sentence
feel.
joke.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like a one word. It just sucks. It just is absolute stupid nonsense. Yeah.
I go back and forth on like if you see my tone is all over the place because certain movies like
Yeah.
allow me to put like very sincere like my sincere thoughts, but then there is a cadence to writing a letterbox review. It's an art, it's a craft,
Mhm.
and I appreciate you reading them out now because what like Ian said, there's the mind is working.
Yeah. Again,
to
this
put one
our
on there.
show. We should promote ourselves.
We're just humble students trying to learn the
Right.
letterboxed way. We're just logging what's in our hearts. So forgive us and like and subscribe as well. I need to do that at the beginning. Please, everybody, we've had a ton of
Wait a
support
second.
recently. Extremely grateful. Shout out to Martin, who's been engaged. Like,
Thank you, Martin.
great. Martin's our biggest fan, I think. So Martin's awesome.
Thank you, Martin.
Wait, before we log off.
Yeah. I still have to do reviews.
Okay.
I'm going to do real
okay,
reviews.
do
right,
it
real
right,
reviews.
right.
because
I'm
we
gonna
need
do
to
other
pivot
ones.
to Victoria because she needs to cook for a couple minutes on something, and I'll get to that in a
Okay.
second.
Oh,
What?
wow.
Don't worry.
Oh, wait. Okay,
Oh,
I'm
wow.
scared.
Okay, well, 2 reviews. I'm excited. So here's a 1/2-star review. This is the very first. I think this is gonna be a thing. This is the first review
Oh, okay.
ever logged 1/2-star. The first 1/2-star review. A body horror film is particularly eager. Then the director of the first film is not a little bit worse. This is a little bit like a poem. I think they're not English
I
speaking.
know, it's like a haiku.
Their director is too eager to express director's own ideas. However, everything has become very confusing. The love part is not real. Body horror is even more empty and uninteresting. And in the end, it is a pile of chaos. Like the characters in the film, a little bit of the characters in The Strong and change the shape of the female King Kong. The moment you as the audience to know that this is too much. It's so embarrassing that by the end, you're laughing out loud.
Okay.
74th Berlinale Film Festival, and that's from Andy Yan. So thank you, Andy, for that. I think I get the gist of
Yeah.
that, and I understand where she's coming from, or they're coming from.
Again, I think it's like a 50-50 on this movie. It's either you love it or you just walk away being like, wow, that was disgusting. Like you really, I don't think there can be an in between on this one.
And then the next 1/2-star review, which is much shorter. I should have just watched Dune again. All I could think while watching this pretentious garbage can emoji was the image of my face on that giant Universal IMAX screen, whiskey shot, and a pool thing. And
that screams pretentious.
That review screams serial killer to me. I am a little worried. That's Reed Thimple, not Perry the platypus.
Okay.
So
you know what? That person is bad vibes.
The twist of him saying that he was imagining his face on the screen.
Yeah.
I don't know what that had to do with the movie.
So weird.
And then quick 5-star reviews. So if you have anything, Ian, let me know. These are all very quick. From Liz with a sparkle emoji. Lesbians, a cat in a truck. Yeah, made for me. Hell yeah. Philip,
yeah, that's how I read that.
Philip says, I feel like I need a baptism after watching this. I feel that as well. It is a grimy movie, but I didn't get too grossed out, to be honest.
No.
Surprisingly. And then Tristan Brown, to wrap it up, you heard it here first. Lesbian art house crime thrillers are the new Marvel movies, folks.
I love it.
Which,
That's
I'm
my
super down for
She-Hulk.
that wave. Yeah, we did actually hit that on accident.
It's not a 5-star review, but it is a review that I found very funny. And it's just not a dry seat in the house.
Oh, God.
Speaking of, you know what I'm saying?
They, Kristen and Katie can pull. They're beautiful.
Did Brendo Hare have one
I
for this?
looked and he didn't. I'm bummed.
Dang.
Our boy Brendan did not have a review, sadly. But
I gotta figure out how to search.
Okay. So here's the thing.
I'm scared. What do you mean?
So the holidays are coming up. And usually that means, Christmas movies. And for like the longest time, the Hallmark Channel was just like the ambassadors of like the romance Christmas movie. That was a huge deal. But now we have a new fighter in the ring. That is Netflix. They have definitely taken over the space for the romantic holiday flick. And there's a new one that has dropped on us. And everyone's talking about it. And our friend Victoria has watched it twice in, I think, 2 days.
Here
and
we
that
go.
movie is called Hot Frosty. Victoria, take it away. What did you love about this film?
First of all, I feel like I'm on trial, but
Not at all.
I actually didn't watch it twice. I'm still new to Letterboxd's UI. And so I log it, and then when I think of a review, I guess I end up logging it again, and then I write my review.
So it seems like you're boosting your
Double
numbers
dipping.
a little bit.
I mean, it's pure ignorance, but I will not be guilty for
You're not on trial here.
loving I feel it, but no, I do. What I will say about Hot Frosty, and this is on the record and my statement, is that it's cinema.
Yes.
I enjoyed it. I was feeling very cold here in Los Angeles. It was a chilling, absolutely chilling 67 degrees.
Horrible.
And I needed something to kind of like feel comforted and cozy. And I went on Netflix, and what I saw like on the banner was Hot Frosty, and I said, "This is it." And it's a delight. I will read my Letterbox review just to give people a little teaser into what it's about.
Shout
and
out
I implore
her letterbox is Cinema Siren, everybody.
Cinema_Sirena.
Sirena, thank you for fixing that.
Oh, no problem. But I gave it a solid 3 stars. And
You also hearted it too.
I also hearted it.
Okay.
Yeah, it really. I
You
loved it.
felt some things while watching it.
I did. I like kind of teared up at the end, and then they also have a blooper reel, which if you have a blooper reel at the end of the movie, I immediately already
half
love
a star.
it.
Yeah.
And so Hot Frosty, I will say, stars Lacey Chabert. Is that how you say her name?
Yeah.
Lacey Chabert from Mean Girls and Dustin Milligan from Schitt's Creek. And he just becomes a snowman who comes to life, and they fall in love. And my 3-star review is, I never thought I'd see a Christmas movie that would have the following: medical notes for a cancer patient written in Comic Sans font, and someone having to explain cancer to a hot snowman. I love cinema. And I'm not going to paint any more context on that. You can watch it. The thing about this one, I'm not like a big Hallmark watcher, and sometimes it pays off when like a movie knows what it is and like leans into it.
Right.
Sometimes that's like a little off-putting. I don't want you to be self-aware. Like the joy of a Hallmark movie is you're completely earnest, and that's what makes it hilarious.
Right.
But this one is like obviously knows what it is, but I still enjoyed it. And yeah, that is my defense of Hot Frosty.
Guilty
I
as
can almost
charged.
guarantee you I'll watch it. We enjoy, me and Becca enjoy watching the cheesy ones because it's good to put on in the background too. When you're you're not one to pay full attention to a movie,
Right?
You're not going to feel guilty about missing.
Yeah, it's just it's a holiday romp.
Does he?
If you want fun, just watch it.
Does he turn into a snowman?
He's a snowman who comes to life.
Okay,
so Jack Frost inverted.
Yeah. So I liked it. It's kind of like a Enchanted, sort of like the movie Enchanted. Honestly, I could have seen like if they had it could have easily been James Marsden in this role, and it would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Would that be your dream casting?
Yes, it would be. Like, I love Ted. I love Ted from Schitt's Creek, who's the character, the protagonist in this. But I think he looks a little emaciated, and maybe could have used a couple steroids or tips from Katie O'Brien to kind of bulk up a little bit.
It's ironic he's a snowman who's like round and
he should be a big
and then
big
he's
dude.
like
he should be a little beefier.
Kind of rotund.
This has been a super fun episode. This was like awesome. Ian, thank you for recommending this. Appreciate it.
I think it was Victoria.
I liked the impulsive one.
Yeah.
The impulsive recommendation.
I'll rewrite reality, and I was the one who pushed for this.
We'll accept
and I'm okay
we'll
with
accept.
that.
Yeah, thank you,
cool.
Victoria.
Yeah,
it's
you're
over.
welcome.
I'll re-edit.
I rated this 3.5 stars, but after talking about it and rewatching it, I want to bump it to 4.
It's a 4-star
I don't care.
masterpiece. Yeah.
It's a 4.
I
It's a
think this
4.
would be a 3.5 to a 4 to me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'd have to think about it.
It's not a boring movie.
No.
Yeah.
Pardon my language. This movie fucks. I'm
Absolutely.
sorry.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
it does.
No, on every level. Yeah, great, really awesome movie. I think an extremely like competently made movie.
Yeah.
Like whether or not you vibe with the vibe is one thing, but there's no doubt this was like a well-made, well-written movie.
Mhm.
Hey, Victoria. I think
Yeah.
that 3.5 stars slowly creeping up to 4 from Caleb.
Yeah, that's what
That's what I'm
this
getting.
is the
More I
work we're
know.
here
That's
to
what
do.
I'm getting.
Anything below 3 is like a little homophobic, I guess.
Yeah,
I
actually,
would have
Caleb,
to
we need to
say.
talk about that.
I would never say I didn't like it. I'm an ally, like Ian said.
That's right.
And that's yeah. So I definitely recommend this unless you're weird about extreme like body violence.
I mean, this movie's pretty
body
horny
horror,
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
for visceral sex scenes.
Get a
But
couple
otherwise,
nipples.
very awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
you get a little Twilight in it.
This is a 5-star movie?
This is well, cool. Victoria, thank you again for coming back.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is amazing.
I love these episodes, so it's very fun. Victoria on Letterboxd is cinema_Sirena. Do you want Instagram? You want to shout out?
Just Letterboxd.
Balls.
I guess Instagram. Yeah, sure. V De Leon.
Nice, there it is. Follow her everywhere. Ian, you are Ian_Locke.
Yeah, LOCKE, baby.
And our channel is logit_pod on Instagram and Letterboxd and on YouTube. I've almost caught up to our latest episode on YouTube. So if you prefer listening on YouTube, check it out there. There's cool art attached to it, which is really fun. You get colorful picture to look at while you listen to us. And I'm F is for movies. I don't know how to do this without the song. Go watch a movie.
Crushing it.
That was it. Go watch a movie.
Go watch a movie.
Yay.
You have to say go watch a movie or some iteration
go
of
watch
it.
a movie. Go to the cinema